We're now live. Welcome everybody to what am I going to call this? A special session of Sweetcast. I don't know. We're streaming on Tuesday night. Normally don't do that, but I wanted to be a part of the launch of KOZOR Descent into Madness. I hope I'm saying that right.
You are, Clint,
Okay.
and thank you for making an exception for me today.
No, I'm happy to have you on. So this is gonna be fun. We got a news article. This is gonna be maybe a little bit more of an intimate setting. Usually got we never know how many people are getting on the stream, but tonight's just Clayton and myself, and this comic and this IDW news article that has been frankly buried in the news because of everything else that's been going on. So this is actually really interesting. I think. Hello to everyone in the chat. Even seeing new faces I'm not used to seeing. Probably Monday nights don't work for everyone, so it's great to see more people. This is great. Yeah, and then here's the point. Ethan was streaming. So the bad news is that Ethan was streaming, or was, I don't know if he still is. But the good news is he was just playing his piano. So you could either listen to the piano. I know a lot of people don't like it, but they're there to watch it anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. You should have promoted this in EVS's chat. There are 800 of us looking for another stream to hop on. Yeah, come here. I should have. I didn't realize he was actually off. So, yeah, appreciate it. Oh, Ethan says I'm done. Let's get right into the book then, Ethan. If you want to see this is pretty impressive stuff. Let me share my screen. Okay, this is KOZOR. Descent into Madness, and the art on this is just insane. And Clayton, you did
Thanks,
all the
man.
art yourself?
I did the cover here that you're looking at right now. Corey, my brother, he did all of the original artwork, and for this first ever time printing, I've gone through and touched up all the interiors, so essentially enhancing Corey's artwork and really bringing you the definitive edition of KOZOR.
So
he also wrote the book, my brother Corey. So, yeah, it's really his. I'm just here as the mouthpiece for KOZOR and the guy who's polishing things up and making it sure that it's ready to go.
Nice. Yeah, this is really cool. And I saw this. I was on your stream, which it's up there with one of my most fun. It was fun to do the accent thing, even though I'm terrible. we did it later. We did accents on my stream, and I just suck at it. I'm terrible at it, but it's still fun for everyone to give it a try. But yeah,
that was great.
It was fun. It was fun. I liked it.
You can thank Rob for his crazy ideas.
The most fun thing is like, we want to hear your accent of an American. You know, what would be a stereotypical accent, and that's kind of funny to me because I know, like me, like we'll do it all the time, make fun of other people's accents, and they're just bad. So it's just kind of fun to hear it done the other way around.
Totally, it's a great time.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at this. Why don't you give us a pitch for it, and we'll come back to this as we go throughout the show.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, the video has the best pitch that I could offer, but I'll give you the rundown real quick. So KOZOR is a 48-page full-color comic book, and basically it's a medieval horror, dark fantasy comic book about this badass savage that you're looking at right here and his clan of grizzled swordsmen who go on this mission into the sacred swamplands of Nimla in search for a super soldier creature that will hopefully provide the upper hand in an all-out battle between mankind and demon. Now, the story that centers around this character, Chief Baron, who you're looking at right here. All the while he's going on this mission with his men, he's actually being manipulated, corrupted by this demonic presence, this demonic entity known as Magator. And the reason that Magator is trying to get in his head is because eventually he wants to manipulate him into being a pawn for his own bidding. And he's hoping that he can pit Chief Baron against KOZOR, who, of course, the title of the book is called KOZOR, but it's kind of structured in a way similar to Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, where KOZOR is the MacGuffin of the story, and all the characters in the world kind of unfolds around that central focus. So that's the general lowdown, man. If you like medieval horror, if you like dark fantasy with lots of blood and guts and monsters and beasts, then this book is going to be for you.
Oh,
As you
cool.
can see, we've got a very grungy, dramatic, intricately detailed art style that well and truly suits the mood and tone of the story within the book. So that's, the art that you're going to see in this book is somewhat of a hybrid between both Corey and my own style, because I'm going in over the top and retweaking some of the line art, giving the colors that extra level of pop. What you're seeing is a true Barton Bros collaboration, and that's what makes this book very special to us.
That's cool. I like that. It's one of no surprise. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and part of the cool part about that to me was that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were just like this. They worked together, and sometimes they were penciling something and inking. It was just such a collaboration on the art itself that they were like, we can't. Sometimes we don't even know which one I drew, which one he drew. Like, so probably not exactly what you did, but it is fun to see that kind of collaboration in that detail. So we'll check that out. Link is in the description, and we'll check in on this, and maybe we'll watch the trailer too on our next segment. I did see a super chat. Let me get that before I forget. Eddie Winkler for $2. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Says backer number 92. Good luck with the campaign.
Thanks so much, Eddie. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot.
Looks like Ethan likes the art too. That's high praise.
Thanks, Ethan. Very much appreciated, and very humbling coming from an artist like yourself. Oh, thanks, man.
This looks amazing.
Wow. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. See, it's totally a surreal experience because Corey and I have been talking about getting this book out for a while. As I said, the original version was created by Corey, and it's been done for almost 3 years. But up until this point, it's just been sitting in this, plastic slip folder on top of his shelf. It really hasn't seen the light of day. We've been the only to have had the opportunity to experience it. So now, we're bringing it to print for the first time and finally getting it out there. And to just see people jump on board like this is truly just, there's no other feeling like it. I mean, you've launched books before, Clint. You know what it's like to get a book out there and see that first backer jump on board to support you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good feeling. And how the first stage is wild. So great. It's a really good start. 80 backers so far.
It's amazing.
I don't know, $5,100 US. I don't know what that is in Australian, but you reached your goal in Australia or America. So that's good.
Yeah. Incredible.
Super chat here, and then we're going to jump over to our article. This is from Jasper Plan 9 for $1.99. Thanks very much. He said, here's a tip: buy a camera. Yeah, that's on my list. It's on my list of things to do. It's really irritating. I don't know why my camera just died. So now we have
it just died?
Yeah, it was like
that sucks.
Last week sometime, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was, but I think I just need a new camera. I think that's the problem. So
what a bummer.
I guess it happens. I feel like I've only had it for like 18 months, so feels like it should I don't know, it should last longer, but so usually, as I do here, I'll pick a news article and the guest has no idea. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you heard about this. No idea, but we still want his opinions. This is why is IDW's new publisher Jude Myers on administrative leave? This is interesting. Super interesting, because he's only been their new publisher for something like 5 days. It was a very short amount of time, and IDW has been going through I don't know, their entire existence has been extremely rough. We'll say it that way. So here's some information. It is on Bleeding Cool, so to take it with a grain of salt, I guess, but he actually has receipts here, so this is kind of interesting. All right, so Jude Myers is the new publisher of IDW. Of all the newly promoted people, he is one with the least experience at IDW, only having worked less than a year as a global sales director since late August. He does have wide experience with comic book sales, however. So he did work at a few different retailers. And if maybe this thumbnail looks familiar, I made a video. I actually went through one of his videos. Jude Meyer had a series of videos online specifically for retailers and some of his ideas on retail. I thought he had some good ideas, and he also had some ideas I disagreed with. But it was just wild to see like the everything connected here. So essentially, he got the job at IDW, worked there for 5 days. When they found out that there was some shady stuff from his past, which is a little nutty. Now, initially, when I hear this, I think someone's going to be canceled, or this is like he said this one thing on Twitter, but these are actually legal court documents. This is bad, some bad stuff. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit more in the article here. In 2003, Myers co-founded with Car D'Angelo his first brick-and-mortar comic store located in Sherman Oaks, California, the famous Earth 2 Comics. In 2009, he formed a partnership with Jeff Johns and purchased Golden Apple Comics, turning into another Earth 2 Comics. He later left Earth 2. Okay, this is not, sorry, I got to skip ahead here. It then transpired that Earth 2 Comics sued Myers and Blastoff. That Blastoff's another retailer. In the suit, Earth 2 Comics complained that Meyer had sold product from Earth 2 to Lone Star Comics and kept the proceeds off the books in his wife's name.
Oh, dodgy.
Just that right there. Oh my goodness. And so this had already been, like, it went to court and everything. This had already been, like, I guess, out there. I'd never heard about this. But that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
very incriminating.
To lose him his job. I guess. Well, he's on administrative leave, so we'll see what happens. But that's pretty bad luck for IDW.
How are they doing as a company these days?
They're struggling, and I mean, their problem is it's multifaceted. But they've been in serious trouble money wise. I know they're in serious debt, but they keep going through changes in leadership. And so this was just a brand new publisher, 5 days, and he's already out.
Yeah, that's brutal. I mean, the mainstream is struggling so much right now, and it feels like it's going to come to a head at some point soon. Just with the decisions that they're making and things like this. This isn't just exclusive to IDW. Overhauls are being made throughout the industry right now, and new ideas are being put out there, but they're not better than what they were already doing. So,
and this is like one example of how the comic book industry is very small, but just one example of the corruption that strings from company to company to company. This was 2 companies initially involved, as part of this, and then it ended up basically involving IDW. I'm sure they didn't know, maybe they didn't know, what they were getting into, but it kind of just shows like people move around, and then you keep hearing after the fact of, in some cases, just pretty bad. I mean, that's cooking the books. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's some criminal stuff. That's some Wesley Snipes stuff right there.
It is. And overall, Earth 2 claimed damages of in excess of $120,000.
Wow.
That is a very successful crowdfunding campaign right there. That's insane. That's so much. So I kind of want to go back and make an amendment to my first video, because now I'm kind of like, the advice that he was giving on retailers doesn't carry much weight if like you were cooking the books to make extra money. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see. So the complaint was eventually settled, but one of the witnesses against Meyer was Chris Powell, now at Diamond Comics distributors. So see how, again, people are just moving around the industry. It's a bit of a shuffle.
Yep. Musical chairs.
It's funny too. It's almost like I don't know. You definitely have to know the right person or whatever, and then you're going to be just moving from company to company. They sort of just, I don't know. It's a little weird sometimes.
It is, man. It's often smaller than you think. These industries, and That's why it becomes corrupted so easily, I believe. That's what I love about what we're doing in Comicsgate is just we're all our own company, but we're all kind of working together at the same time. I mean, you do, of course, get a little bit of corruption here and there in the ranks, but it's nothing like what we see here in the mainstream.
Yeah. Sorry about that. My daughter came in and I'm trying to direct her.
Oh, that's okay.
A fine mom. All right. Yeah. So again, yeah, totally on board with you. I love just controlling your own, future.
The best. It's the
It
best.
really is. There's a lot of benefits to it. And one of it is just getting mixed up and getting other people's baggage becoming your baggage. That's pretty bad.
Can you imagine how scared and afraid you'd feel working in the mainstream right now? Like just losing your job, everything depending on your job, and it could be gone in a second.
Yeah. And you got to say the right things. You got to not say anything. You got
to kiss a lot of ass.
You do. It's I don't know. I don't envy it. That's for sure. Especially this week. It's just been, the past week, but over the weekend, it's been insane just seeing some of the stuff that came out, with the J. Lee cover and, guilt by association. Just all the finger pointing has been.
Yeah.
It just really is. For me, it highlights the fear that's in the industry because they haven't cared. They haven't even talked about Comicsgate for, I don't know, a year. It's been a long time. Like just full on ignore it, and then now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. It's just death throes. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh well, there's a lot of success in Comicsgate right now, and I don't think they like seeing that too much. It's like kind of stoking the fire a little bit.
Yeah. So sort of carrying on here. Here's another interesting connection. Myers was also named director of sales and marketing at Humanoids, which is Mark Waid's publishing company, which is interesting. Which I am told became a problem for Humanoids as Chris Powell. Here's the problem too. They know that there's an issue with this guy, and so they're sort of passing him around from company to company. I gotta wonder, how did it get this far? For some, something that happened so long ago, it's been a problem, but yet he keeps getting hired places. Yeah, here's Humanity First.
Yeah, you gotta do it in your boy Zach's voice though.
Humanity. Yeah, I can't do it.
Humanity First.
There you go. Got it. Yeah, let's see. As Chris Powell at Diamond declined to work with him, so it was because Chris Powell at Diamond would not work with Myers. That's the reason why Humanoids decided to drop him at the company. So, but IDW apparently didn't have a problem with it. Let's see. Also, Humanoids' appearance at a retailer event and conventions would attract the attention of aggressive retailers over Myers' presence. So apparently this was pretty open. People knew about it. A lot of people were pretty upset about him. I would guess that other people came forward once they heard that he was going to be working at IDW. That seems obvious to me. All right, let's take a little break here and look at KOZOR. We'll get back into this labyrinth of, I don't know, what is the corruption at the comic book industry.
The mess of it all.
It indeed is. It really is. I think what we'll do here, let's show your video, and I've got to stop sharing and then reshare.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to get the audio.
Oh, yeah.
Share audio. There we go. Like a professional. All right, we'll play this trailer and see what you all think.
KOZOR Descent into Madness features 43 full-color pages of intricately detailed art that tells a nightmare-fueled story of foul demons, abundant bloodshed, and the insidious corruption of a warrior's psyche. The story centers around a mighty warrior named Chief Baron and his clan of savage swordsmen who embark on a quest into the sacred swamplands of Nimla in search for the mysterious Faceless People, a race of submissive super soldiers who will balance out the odds in a ruthless war between man and demon. But when they're attacked by a flock of flying beasts, their journey proves more fatal than they could have ever imagined. In this campaign, backers get no less than the definitive edition of KOZOR, Descent into Madness, which comes complete with refined edits, additional story pages, retouched interior artwork, and new wraparound covers. If you're a fan of dark fantasy and medieval horror, this book is for you. Back KOZOR, Descent into Madness today, only on Indiegogo.
Had to wait for the scary music. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's so
Thanks,
cool.
man. I'm glad you dig it.
I'm looking at trailers, yeah, and like I was thinking, in essence, what's the most important thing? And it's really just, to me, you get a glimpse at what the story's about. Because then you can pitch it with your own voice, you know, or someone else's voice. You have a human that's speaking it and pitching it to you, which is, I think, probably a little bit more effective than just reading it.
Yeah, totally. I think that what I really like about the trailer is it draws you in. There's a bit of an emotional impact that I've found. It could just be the fact that I created the trailer and that we put this book together, but for me, it gets me excited every time I watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's look at the tiers here real quick. This is so the first one. This is the featured tier. This is often, like Ethan will say this, people don't know what to back, and so it's nice to just put one at the top. This is like the granddaddy kind of tier that everyone should be getting, I guess. Totally. All 3 editions plus a poster. You want to explain the 3 editions?
So the 3 editions are basically the default edition, which comes with my cover, the variant cover, which Corey has done up, and then a black and white version of the book, which not only showcases the line art on the front cover, but also the interior pages to really shine a spotlight on Corey's intricate line art. And of course, it's the updated line art that I've gone ahead and worked on, but it's awesome. Like, we haven't really seen a black and white comic book, or a variant that has been released by other comics creators. So we're kind of going into uncharted territory here. We hope it works out. We have a really good response so far. Also, I got to mention that is actually 3 posters that you get there in that package. That's why it might seem a little bit more expensive, and they're also printed at an A3 size. And if you click on that reward, actually, it'll show you what those dimensions are. So that's 11.7 by what's it say there? 36.5 inches. Sorry, 16.
16.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really close to. I think maybe we had this discussion before. I know in Australia, it's like the sizes are. You just use different conventions. You know.
Yeah, we do.
You're not using inches over there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why use the name A3 and then also show the dimensions in inches. So these are good sized posters. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, the cool thing about it is that we're packaging all of these books up in this, which for those of you who use Gemini mailers, looks very, very similar to a Gemini mailer, but it's kind of like the Aussie version because we don't have Gemini here. And if you open it up, it looks just like a Gemini mailer inside. Right, you fold it over, you put the books in it, and like that's not gonna fold or break or get damaged in the mail. The mailman could kick it to your doorstep, and it'd still be in one piece in pristine condition. And they come in A3 size, which is really awesome. So we don't have to fold those posters. We can keep them all completely flat. You can pull it straight out of the box and hang it on your wall. They're going to be, we were talking 300 GSM prints, so they're actually quite high quality.
Oh Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're getting 3 editions of the book, and I gotta say, I'm interested to see how this goes because Charlie and I, for Fatal, we're planning on doing exactly this and having a black and white version, which means a totally
you got
separate
it, man.
print run. Yeah, but it's like his art. I'm like, everyone's gonna ask for it, so we'll just prepare for it and just do it. Have a black and white version. Are you gonna have this lettered? That was one thing we weren't sure about.
Sorry.
Are you gonna letter the black and white version, or is it gonna just be the art?
Oh no, it'll definitely be lettered. It'll be just a black and white version of the comic book. Yeah, because like kind of like the old school Phantom comic books. I guess in that way. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like that. For me, I was like, do you have it lettered, or is it like you're just gonna get? I don't know. So curious, chat. Let us know your opinions. I'm just curious, but
totally.
I really like this idea.
Thanks, man.
So making it easy down the list here. You've got the definitive editions, just the book.
$25 USD, so standard for a Comicscape book. You also get an A4 sized poster included with these of the cover that you're backing.
Oh, cool.
So that's pretty cool.
And A4 is 8.3 by 11.7.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, wow. That's A4.
That's A4. Just a little bit bigger than a standard comic book dimensions.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And then you can
books
also
are signed too.
All books are signed. Nice. That is a nice perk to have. You got the black and white edition. You can just get that separately if you want black and white. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Variant combo. So these are just basically combinations.
Yep, they're the combos. And this is a special one.
Yeah, why don't you explain it? Open it up here too.
So this one's absolutely massive. I can't quite read that in USD. What does that say there?
$186.
$186 in USD, and it's expensive, but the reason for that is because you actually get 4 different versions of the book in this one. So you get the definitive, you get the variant, you get the black and white, but you also get the original version of KOZOR with all original artwork and story by Corey that is untouched by me. Right, so the artwork hasn't been adjusted or modified in any way, shape, or form. It is just the default edition of KOZOR that is sitting on his shelf in that plastic slip folder right now, in a printed comic book format, of course. So it's kind of a collector's item. We're only doing 50 of these, and 5 of them are already gone the last time I checked. You also get 5 posters. So you get posters of all of the different covers there, plus an additional one in an A3 sized format, again printed on high quality paper. You get 3 exclusive collector cards. You get a bookmark, and best of all, you get an original hand-drawn sketch by Corey Barton himself, which we included in your package.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
So there's your original art tier. That's always fun. People are going for them too. 5 out of 50, so it's limited to 50. I keep seeing people say that they backed it, so I'm going to refresh this.
Cool.
Nervous about it, but it's day 1. 90, so 10 more backers from
amazing, man.
Started. That's so great. 10 backers away from 100, which is, I think, the first like major landmark. Is this your first crowdfunding campaign?
Yeah, this is our very first crowdfunding campaign. So as you can imagine, we're just, without having any crazy expectations, we're absolutely floored by the response we've received on this book in just a matter of hours.
Great. Something that I'm always reminded of is that there are an audience of people that they're just looking for good comic books. And that's a big part of the battle, is just bring something that looks gorgeous, the story that looks sounds great, and that gets you so much traction. Obviously, everything else helps too in promoting and everything, but
it does.
Book looks great.
It takes you so far, and that's exactly what we wanted to give people, man, because we're comic book readers as well as creators, and because we're visual, we really love great looking comic books. So for us not to deliver that would be so unsatisfying. For us to have to create a book that we weren't completely happy with visually. So that's why you're seeing KOZOR in the form that you're seeing it today.
Yeah, nice. Well, we'll get back to this. There's only 10 backers away from 100 backers. So if you want to be one of those backers, check it out. And then in the meantime, we're going to jump back to,
Hell yeah.
It feels like the other end of the spectrum here.
It is.
I don't know. It just, reaffirms that indie comics are just the best, handling it yourself. All right. So we're getting back into the story. This is as to why IDW had a new publisher for 5 days, and now he's on administrative leave. Yes, it's like the continuing saga. It's been rough, apparently. Okay, so here we go, and to continue the article here. It says, then when the final Blast Off Comics store closed last year, and I understand the chain went out of business, still owing Diamond Comics distributors around $35,000, there were then allegations that stock had then been consigned by collectors to Blastifcell and then placed in storage, managed to make it to the marketplace without money or stock being returned yet to those dealers. So this is a little confusing, perhaps how it's worded. But so we had mentioned that there was the selling of books, merchandise from basically one store to the other store under his wife's name to sort of like hide the transaction. This is, again, I mean, I'm no lawyer, but this kind of sounds like money laundering.
Was that on purpose, do you think? Or was he just like, hey, wife, take care of this for me. Complete the transaction. I'll pay back.
I think it was on purpose, only because I don't see how you accidentally do that. It doesn't make, like, in any of the business stuff that I do, it's like I don't know, like
totally
$120,000. It's just, that's a lot of money. Apparently that was just the tip of the iceberg. That's what had been there was a lawsuit over that was then settled. So now we're talking about an additional $35,000 here that were in stock. They owned Diamond Distribution 35,000, and they went out of business without paying that off. But they did basically send merchandise to other stores to sort of, I guess, get out of paying Diamond their owed $35,000. Maybe that's where Diamond learned the trick of not paying their publisher. So who knows? Okay,
possibly.
So, could be. As a result of all this, former comic book retailers are now working at Diamond Comic distributors, and those who still believe Myers owes them a pretty penny have been rather standoffish in dealing with Jude Myers, as he's joined prominent comic book publisher IDW Publishing in his global sales role. DC's decision to leave Diamond knocked a lot of that one on the head. How does he locked in? Okay, that made them upset. It made Diamond have a hard time. But the appointment of Jude Myers and publisher of IDW unearthed it all again, and it made its way to Bleeding Cool over the last week. So yeah, I essentially that's the news. So I've got to wonder too. I'm sure because he's on administrative leave, they're sort of looking into this stuff to see what's going on. But that's pretty bad news.
It's not a good look, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah. Again, it's almost like it gets so complex, and then there's all these personal relationships, which is weird for business. But who knows how many people knew about this, but we're kind of not saying anything about it to save face, or it just doesn't really make sense. Like why someone would be so upset over Jay Lee doing a Cyberfrog cover, so many people, but yet something like this where it's, I mean, there's a lot of documentation to support this stuff, but actually what, I don't know, again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on this, but what appears to be like laundering money.
It does appear like that, doesn't it?
But you're not getting the outrage the same. It just shows the corruption. That's
it's a blind eye situation. I heard Jay Lee actually had a response to Tom King. Do you know what that was?
It was beautiful, basically.
Oh,
If you
okay,
haven't read it,
cool.
I'll have to look it up. But Jay Lee, I think, responded like a regular person that's not on Twitter would respond. And basically, he saw that Tom King said that it was all good, and his response, I should probably find it. That would be the professional thing to do.
That'd be
Here,
awesome.
Let me stop sharing so I can find it real quick here. But, basically, he told him exactly, how it affected his life, and that it was real world. I think that's a big thing. Let me look it up.
I don't think that they completely understand the difference between the real world and the Twitter world a lot of the time. Some of these, Tom King-like figures.
Yeah, that's part of the problem is, I found it. I'm going to share the screen.
Yeah.
There we go. Part of the problem is I feel like they think it doesn't matter because it doesn't feel like real life to them. You know what I mean? Or maybe they don't know you, or they're not seeing your face, so therefore it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, but it does. And so Jay Lee, I think this was the smartest response that he could make, in that he perfectly painted a picture of how it actually affected his real life and how it might affect his real life in the future. And that got an apology from Tom King. We'll talk about the apology in a minute too. But
let's read through this.
The apology is important too. But yeah, let's get to it. So Jay Lee, this is from Jay Lee, posted this on Instagram. He says, 2 weeks ago, June and I took Loki to San Diego to see a specialist. And Loki is his dog, and June is his significant other. At least that's sort of what I'm gathering from the context here. He did not survive due to complications from the surgery. This past Friday was supposed to be a day of mourning. We were back in San Diego to pick up his ashes. We were going to take him to the beach and comfort each other by sharing our favorite stories about our little boy. Instead, a part of the internet I avoid like the plague came barging in, and I had companies I'm working for calling me, friends reaching out to me. I'm seeing hate pouring out of strangers' mouths, accusing me of things I have no knowledge of. I'm seeing firsthand how fast lies are spreading. Let me be clear, I'm not part of any group. I'm going to add, let alone a hate group. That's just absurd.
Yeah.
He continues, we never made it to the beach. We spent the entire 6-hour drive back home on an emotional roller coaster. I'm writing this because I'm angry. These irresponsible tweets are not harmless. They do not just go away. They have real world consequences. They can take away your job, your life, your memories. June and I were robbed of a special day. So no, we're not all good. And that's in response to Tom King's second tweet, where he said that they're all good because Jay wasn't on Twitter. So, Jay continues, this isn't the start of a conversation. This is the end. So please don't drag me into a world I never wanted to be part of, nor will I ever want to be part of. I want to honor Loki by going back to producing art made with love for people who enjoy it for what it is, something that hopefully brings joy into their lives. Mommy and Daddy miss you very much, Loki. Our love.
Oh,
so sad day for him. Compounded by just internet, it puts it into perspective a little bit as to how ridiculous these insane accusations are. And it was just unprovoked. What provoked it was that Jay Lee also did a cover for a book that Tom King happened to be writing, so that gave him jurisdiction to ruin his life. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So Tom King apologized, and I think the good thing to do is to recognize, they tell you never apologize, and that's because you're admitting guilt. He is admitting guilt, so I will accept his apology. Not only that, I will insist, like when you're trying to cancel somebody, you should apologize. You're doing something terrible. So that's
absolutely
why I think Jay Lee's, this was such a good response, because he did get an apology. And that is an admission that it was wrong. It was completely wrong.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, what do you think about all this? I know we're just sort of dumping it on you, but
who, me?
Yeah.
Man, I saw the Tom King comment. I actually commented on his post because the whole hate group idea is really it's become so overused that it's just a meme now. Like it has no weight to it. Hate groups used to mean like neo-Nazis and terrorists and shit like that, but now it's what, Comicsgate? Give me a break. If you're talking about just a group of creators who aren't doing what you want them to, that doesn't make them a hate group at all in any way, shape, or form. So I thought that was very, very silly that they would label Jay Lee as working with a hate group in that way, which is a very inflammatory word to use for a group of people.
It is.
So I don't think he knew what a hate group was, and I don't think he certainly knows what Comicsgate is about at all. And anybody commenting in a way that seemed to support what he had to say, they seemed just as uninformed as well. So I thought it was a silly comment. And yeah, I agree. Jay Lee's response is absolutely perfect. I don't think he could have really brought Tom King back down to earth as potently as he did in that comment.
So I've got to wonder, and you bring up a good point, and that is the sort of intention, or does someone like Tom King knowingly call Comicsgate a hate group when he knows that it's false, or is he hearing that they're a hate group and he's not bothering to look into it?
Yeah,
it's hard to know, but there's got to be some percentage of people that would look at it and go, well, they're objectively not a hate group, but
yeah,
I'm going to use that term anyway.
Look, I think there's a lot of people out there in the industry who don't think for themselves. A majority of them don't think for themselves, and one of the reasons as to why I'm a part of Comicsgate is because the mainstream industry and many other mainstream industries, the movie industry and video game industry included, are just full of sheep. It's kind of like I'm sure you've heard of the experiment before where, they lock a bunch of monkeys up together and they spray them with water every time they go to reach that banana, and until eventually they learn not to grab that banana because otherwise they'll all get sprayed. Then they bring a new monkey in, and that monkey tries to reach for the banana, but then all the other monkeys beat the shit out of that new monkey and drum it into him. And eventually they leave the banana hanging there, and a whole new group of monkeys is now locked in the cage. They've never been sprayed before. It's just that they have learned that they get the shit beaten out of them if they ever attempt to grab it. So it's that sheep mind set that I think causes a lot of people just to become hypnotized into this dogma-like state.
Yeah, that I've not heard of that experiment, but that's it's it really encapsulates what's going on,
because it's the mainstream industry, man.
Yeah, it's like this social peer pressure, and the thing is, it's definitely a Twitter related one. Like it's very isolated to social media, and so every time it kind of mixes outside of that, I don't know, there's always weirdness that happens. I don't know, it blows my mind.
100%, man, I agree.
Congrats. I don't know, good on, not congrats, but I'm glad that Jay Lee did that. I'm glad he said that.
Yeah.
More response.
He didn't apologize.
No, he did not.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And I still am seeing crazies on Twitter that are still demanding that that Jay Lee is accountable, or that he does apologize for something. He didn't do anything wrong. And like that's the craziest thing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm glad how it panned out, but I hope that this makes other people I don't know, sort of see what's going on. Totally, so KOZOR, let's get back to KOZOR. I said that this would be kind of a shorter stream, and I think we've achieved that. Hopefully it's been informative to everybody. And for the entertaining part, KOZOR just looks like such a great book. I'm going to scroll through the art here one more time. Why don't you tell us, for anybody that's come in recently, let me post the link to again while I'm at it. Tell us about KOZOR again. And
totally
back it today.
So KOZOR is a medieval horror, dark fantasy, 48-page full color comic book that's essentially about grizzled, hardened warriors, beastly demons, and lots of bloodshed. If you've ever seen the anime Berserk, Corey was very deeply inspired by that particular story. So you're going to see a very similar vibe within KOZOR. Other things you could compare this to are Dark Souls, Lord of the Rings, maybe a little bit, Game of Thrones in terms of the way in which the story is structured and revolves around a bunch of various characters. But yeah, it's a badass book with stunning looking, intricate, detailed artwork by Corey Barton, combined with myself, and really beautiful looking colors as well that accentuate all the details that you're going to get within that line art. I love this Geiger type color here that Corey has done up for the variant as well. I think that that may even be slightly better than my cover, if I'm being honest. I love this one.
They're both really cool, yeah, it's cool. You mean HR Geiger? Is that what you're talking?
Yeah, HR Geiger. What did I say?
No, you said Geiger, but I just want to make sure that
cool.
I'm catching the reference. No, you're good. Yeah, that's exactly, because I was thinking it has that like alien, yeah, Geiger kind of feel. It's really cool. So
totally,
I dig it. We'll refresh it one more time here and see where we're at. This always makes me
Let's
nervous.
do it.
If you haven't, if you haven't backed it, check it out. I think it's just such a cool looking book. I loved seeing when we popped into your stream. I saw you were working on this piece. I think the cover.
Yeah,
it's just cool to see the finished product. So here we go. I'll refresh the page. Jumped up one more backer,
awesome.
91 backers. Really appreciate
it. Cool.
Watching. And the best thing that you can do, I mean, obviously back it, but if you can't back it today, or if you've already backed it, share this campaign out on social media, share the stream out on social media, and spread the word. I think that's probably one of the very few things that social media is good for, is just spreading the word on good comics. So that'll help.
Absolutely. And, we're making the rounds right now as well. So if you'd like to invite us onto your channel to talk about the book, we would welcome that opportunity to anyone out there watching now.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, if you got a YouTube channel, I know there are several people watching that have YouTube channels. So check it out. Are your DMs open? What's the best way to contact you?
DMs are open. You can contact me on Twitter at howtodrawcomics. It's as simple as that. I'll get back to you.
Cool. Sounds great.
Cool.
Well, Clayton, appreciate you coming on the stream tonight. It was good to talk with you. I'm glad you did really well with just on the fly. I was throwing news at you, and you did good. So
no worries, man. Always a pleasure talking to you, Clint. Thanks for having me today.
Likewise. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow in another regular video. Thanks everyone. Bye.